Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Krayt Expectations. I'm here with Epicac Sarah. How are you today, Sarah?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We just finished watching that Family Guy episode where they drink Epicac. It's it's epic.
Not really.
It's a little bit hilarious though. So, anyways, gosh, we've got the road ahead that came out today, and so we're doing more of a podcast format today, folks. No special stuff other than talking about this crazy road ahead. There's a ton of stuff to discuss, and half of it's going to be on this channel, half of it's going to be on Sarah's channel as usual. You can find the link to that in the video description, and and then if you wait all the way to the end of this episode, you can find a link that's just clickable. It's a very easy, lazy way out, and I know that that appeals to like the majority of you. So
Appeals to me.
it appeals to me. We're all in the same boat here. All right, so road ahead. Where do you even want
Yeah.
to start, Sarah?
I don't even know. Like, there was so much to digest from this road ahead today.
Another epic joke, really?
No, no epic egg. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, they told us about what, seven characters that are coming, give or
Yeah.
take. And
Yeah,
right.
seven new characters. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna get a new Galactic Legend. They're draining all our resources before the new GL."
Mhm. Um, I'm I'm okay. I'm just I don't want to say surprised, but like we just had Afra who she's got her legacy event or whatever you want to quantify it as. It feels fast to get notice on another hero's journey.
I mean, she's been out for a while now, and the announcement went out way longer ago. I
Oh,
don't
yeah, for
even.
sure.
I think Cal Kestis might be a little bit longer burn too. Like I don't think it's gonna be like, oh yeah, we get the next character like right away. Like I think we get the Tuskens first, and then
Hmm.
and then we start working on the Afra stuff. Like
I think we will get the Tuscans
or
first as
the
well.
Cal Kestis stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, it just felt like I mean, I guess if they do drag it out, then it could theoretically be in like May or June, which would be
Right.
roughly
No.
what they did last year with Grand Inquisitor.
Well, I was thinking like it could be May the 4th
Ooh,
release or something. Maybe.
mm-hmm. That's a good
Maybe.
maybe. That's a good point. I didn't think of
J-
that.
June be. Right. So
Which one's red?
what? Oh, because of the stupid the trolling that troll face does. Yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, I agree with you though. I think we will get the Tuscans first. That just makes, especially because we got one of the kits already.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Gosh, there's so much going on. I
I
also
know.
we got our first bonus node. It sounds like
Oh yeah.
for territory battle. So that's exciting. I don't know. Like okay, so I'm sure we'll get into some more negative stuff at some point because there's a lot of like kind of red flags to me and stuff. But I want to
Ton.
start. But I know you have no shortage of rage. We've established that. I think this is our 52nd episode, and we've been doing this for
Mhm.
because we've skipped a few weeks. We're well past a full year of doing this show, but
Mhm.
it's kind of fun. This is on the 52nd episode.
That's true.
In a way, it's like the 1 year time frame for us.
Mhm.
So, what do you think? What do you when you read this?
Yes.
What, if anything, was the most exciting for you? Like, what things were you like? Oh, that's cool. That'll be fun. Like, or even just like guarded. Like, oh, though that might be fun if CG doesn't mess it up, etc. What, what did you look? What are you looking forward to?
I don't think so I read this and I was just extremely uneasy the whole time I read it.
That's all you got from it.
I didn't I mean the territory battle bonus zone. I was like, okay, cool. Like, awesome that they're gonna activate those. Feels a little early to activate them already, but again, it might not activate for 6 months or whatever. We don't know. Um, I think for me, what ended up happening was I read it and it was so much information to process that my brain immediately like overloaded and I just had more questions that it kind of made it less. It kind of took like the excitement away from the fact that it was the road ahead because I was left with like, but what about this? What about this? Like I felt like I had more questions than answers by the time I was done reading it.
Very well.
What did you get excited about?
Oh, tons of stuff, man. So first off, I don't know. I like the way they revamped a lot of the raid stuff because there's been a lot of stuff that I've frankly like. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna be in hot water with all the people who like to murk, but murking has always seemed like an unfair thing to me, just because not everyone has the ability to do it or the time. Like I just don't have time to do it or whatever. So, you know, like it's you know, I've always felt like I don't know. They balance the game based off of a certain allotment of gear that should be
Hmm.
released, and you know, not that I think it's cheating or anything, but the people who murk, like the people who quit their guild, go out and you know, quote unquote, help another guild get their raid done, and then go back and do the same raid with their own guild, based off of a lot of different things like I don't know. I like that they're going to be stopping, and I kind of like that they're stopping it. Frankly, not that I wish
Right.
bad things on people, but at the same time, it's just something that I have always felt it was a little unfair. And they've always said that people shouldn't be doing this, but they never stopped it. I think the biggest thing for me I like that they. It's not just that one thing about the raids. I like the idea that the raid goes the entire length of the time
Mhm.
because like that was always they're like, oh yeah, like you can get good rewards if you participate in the raid. I'm like, yeah, but what if my guild clears it in like an hour and I just happen to be in a meeting?
Right.
But it's like, hey, like this goes the full like 2 days. You can actually go in and get guaranteed points for yourself as much as you want. You can redo them as much as you want. They're restricting how many factions they're going to give you. Like it really seems a lot more streamlined to me. So
Hmm.
that I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I like raids, frankly, but I do like that idea. And then the thing that I was probably the most excited about though was the idea that we're probably going to get some reinforcements for Nightsisters, or at least one in the form of Marin.
Hmm. My Nightsister initiate's super excited.
Right, I know that you've made that comment, but
Yeah.
I my Nightsisters were probably I want to say like in my first 10 relic or you know like Gear 13 characters.
Hmm.
I want to say that my Nightsisters were like all five of my Nightsisters were in the top 10, like were my first in within the first 10 relic characters, because I don't know, I've always really liked that faction, so really
I
hoping that they're going to be awesome.
I'm actually curious about her and what she's going to do, but I legitimately went to use my Nightsister team the other day. And when you get into a habit of like just clicking through a faction really quick to put the characters in because they've basically always been in the same order. Um, I like clicked really quick and almost hit battle when I realized that Initiate was in there because she's
what,
now jumped
what are you doing
ahead.
in there?
I was like, "Whoa,
Hey, stupid, get out of there.
we don't want you."
Didn't someone tell you you're not welcome here?
I was like, I know you're Relic 7, but you can sit over there for a minute. Oh man. Poor initiate. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I am curious what her kit is going to be like. I think that could be exciting, potentially.
Maybe. I mean, it might not be great, but I've always loved Night Sisters as a faction, and part of that is me like just laughing because CG is bad at Night Sisters things,
Hmm.
and it's always given me just a little bit of joy, just a tiny bit, like that the Anakin plus Daka plus zombie in Phase 3 of the Sith raid
Yeah.
has always made me chuckle, like the zombie cheese and like I don't know. CG just like could not fix it. Like they tried to fix it so many times, and eventually you could just sense that they just like throw their hands up in the air. Fine, just take this stupid interaction. That wasn't intended, but fine, you know. Well,
Well,
see if you ever get another raid that's worth anything.
ha ha ha, CG. It's funny though because now you will get Marin, and I'm curious if it's going to break them more or.
Well, that's why I was surprised that we got the Asajj Omicron, frankly, because that was
Mhm.
pretty good. That was pretty good actually, and you know, I have it on both of my accounts, and whereas it's taken a step further back. I wouldn't say like it was at the forefront for a long time, but it keeps getting kind of pushed back. I'm excited to see what ends up happening with Marin. Maybe she won't even go with the Nightsisters team, but I feel like that would be such a sad injustice to them
Yeah. Yeah.
for a team that I really enjoy.
It's gonna be interesting. Um, okay. So where do we actually want to start diving in? Because I feel like we're hopping around.
Well, I just
Um,
wanted to know what you were happy about, and we've established nothing. So now we
yeah.
can move. Now we can move to. Why don't we just start at the kind of the top? Tuskens are coming out,
Yeah. So we get two new Tuscans,
kind of like three in a way.
right? So we get Chieftain, Tuscan Chieftain, and we get Warrior.
Hmm.
Um, and then I think it's in Tuscan Chieftain's kit where if it's 3v3 and Scion of Django Boba is there, he counts as a Tuscan.
Right. Which I mean, it says a 3v3 Omi, which I'm just. It's made me chuckle the whole time. Like, you know, they had to just further diversify it. Like, at what point are they gonna? Why haven't they stipulated Omega's Omicron is
Hmm.
just Geonosis territory battle or something?
Right.
Not that I want that, but that seems like the kind of selectivity that they might be doing. Anyways, so it's 3v3, but it also stipulates it's one of those, you know, tell me I can't use the other Omicron with this team without telling me I can't use this
Hmm.
Omicron with the team. It's like if there's no summoned units, then Scion of Django can be part of the
Right.
team.
So not a double Omicron team.
Right. I mean, if you do double Omicron team, that it's kind of just wasted. But I like the idea because a lot of people have really boosted their Django
Yeah.
Omicron. Or they're you know they've really made their Django super strong for territory wars, and
Hmm.
I'm told that he's still kind of useful. Though I'm like, every time I go to kill something, I just use Fennec lead and it's fine. Like if I want to kill Lord Vader, I just use Fennec instead. Even on my main who has an Omicron
Hmm.
Django, I use Fennec, and everything works just as intended for me. But I like that some people are like, oh yeah, I overinvested in that. Maybe some people are having a little bit of investment, like in guilt, like not guilt, but just like regret that they've put so
Hmm.
much. Like, man, I don't want him at Relic 8. Like, I don't use him anymore. And now there's a way that if they really want to get a little bit more out of their investment, they can.
Right.
Not to mention
And
it's thematic.
oh, totally. Totally thematic. And um you're gonna end up wanting to gear them because they are a faction that you can use in the new raid.
Right. Yeah, so I've never really noticed, I don't know, the momentum mechanic and stuff that it never seemed that overpowered to me. So
Hmm.
I guess I'm fine for now to see what they do. So they are going to be part of this new raid, and I mean, so the raiding thing, I've always enjoyed the idea. Like whenever you know they were like, I don't think we're going to do any more raids. Like the community solves them too fast.
Hmm.
It's just too much because there's too many crazy mechanics out there. So they're limiting the number of factions that can do it. Um,
Right.
and it sounds like there's going to be a whole lot more raids coming.
Right. Which makes me curious. Like, this was another thing where you get that kind of vibe. I'm like, so does that mean they just retire the crate raid and then bring in the new one, or do they add a new one and that just tacks on to the you know, excuse me, trail of raids that they've kind of made, like the path you should follow. Um, I don't know. I just have questions.
Yeah. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure on people to be building Tuskens, and maybe they'll be good in 5v5. We don't know what the warrior is. We don't know what kind of boosts everything's going to get. They're going to be putting, like, requiring all these Tuskens for galactic challenges, requiring them for conquest, all of that stuff.
Salt battles.
Yeah, are they? No, they're not a faction that you can use in an assault battle yet.
Well, it
Oh,
said, uh, why am I blanking here? Conquest,
right.
the
Uh,
raid,
Yeah,
assault battles,
I did.
and a datacron set.
Yeah, I just wonder. The thing I'm just pondering out loud is, uh, you know, uh, are they part of some assault battle thing that we've just been
Mm.
ignoring? It's just like, oh yeah, like I always use troopers there, but Tuskens are technically allowed, kind of thing.
Um,
That's what I'm pondering.
I don't know actually, now that I think about it. Maybe they are
Maybe
allowed.
maybe they'll be part, like they'll just be the second faction for the Inquisitorious assault battle or something.
Somebody made that joke earlier, actually, the same thing, and I was like, that would just be hilarious.
Well, I mean, honestly though, it's not that totally crazy out of the. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's that far out of the realm of possibilities that they do
Mhm.
that.
I
So,
I will say the one so they mentioned this. It was galactic challenges, conquest feats, assault battles, and will be the focus of the new Datacron set.
mhm.
Not to mention the raid as well. But they tacked on this line at the end of it that said, "We hope sharing this news ahead of time helps to inform your decisions on the journey you want to take over the coming months," which is basically like the the politically correct way of being like, listen to what we are telling you. You are going to want this faction.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think. I mean, I've seen people say things like Tuskens equal 2023's version of Inquisition.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've seen that too.
I don't know where it goes with that. Like the Inquisitorius have force users that like are crazy strong. I feel like Tuskens are about as powerful in the current lore as they're ever going to be. So unless they want to, I think there used to be like a Jedi who was a Tusken Raider back in the way back day with Legends material.
Mm-hmm.
Like unless they want to go that route, it seems like Tuskens aren't going to have some crazy legendary or like some weird unlock. You're like, oh man, I can't wait to unlock the Tusken hut builder, or
Tusken
whatever.
hut builder.
The Hound
Uh,
trainer. I don't know. Like what would be exciting? Like the Tusken mud creature that they have to kill at some point with Boba. Like what? Where does this faction go, really? Like, how far, like the Inquisition. It's like, well, you could add Darth Vader to it to make it even more menacing if you wanted to. Obviously, they kind of went without that, but
mhm.
like Riva and Grand Inquisitor, all of it's kind of believable that they're like these really big, important characters who are pretty strong, even if you don't love the faction. Like, you can kind of believe that they're strong,
Right.
characters. Like Tuskens, they like attack trains. They have trouble with trains. Like they need training to beat trains.
Oh man. I don't think they're gonna be crazy strong. I don't know. I could be wrong because we haven't seen this other kit yet, but
Right.
um it just sounds like you're gonna want them so that you can get the rewards for everything that they're gonna be involved in.
I think you're gonna want them. I just don't know if they're gonna be quite as important as Inquisition
Right.
have been. That's all. Like Inquisition just kept going. They're like, all right, Datacron set after Datacron set after Datacron set supported them, and then we also, Grand Inquisitor came out, and we still want that. And then now we're getting Riva, and then we're gonna want him to get to Relic 8 so that we can do that mission. Like I don't know if it's gonna get quite to that extent.
Right.
Maybe,
Yeah. I mean,
but
I guess we'll find out.
seems a little crazy.
Tuskens.
I don't know. Like honestly, that it's not as onerous a task as you might think. Like so, Tusken Shaman is the only one who isn't a requirement so
Right.
far.
Right.
So
So
like my main account just happens to have two relic or Tuskens who don't have good like their storage lockers for mods. Like
hmm
one of them actually has one of my old school mods that that I rolled speed on
hmm
before they did the changes, so it has a roll on it.
yeah.
But it's a green mod with two rolls on it or whatever. So but like so I'm just they're containers for me right now, but they're kind of ready though. Like Tuska Shaman is gear 12. I'll get that up pretty soon to relics.
Yeah. So that's a good point because I mean it's and they're older characters, so theoretically their gear isn't awful. I haven't actually looked at their gear, but
Well, no Kairos at least.
yeah. And then I mean I'm sure these new ones will have Kairos, but
Oh yeah.
still, that's only the two.
Yeah, it seems pretty achievable. And then the new raid also, I mean, if you're not working on Jabba already, I think you're crazy,
Yeah.
frankly. No shade on people who haven't. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. That's totally your choice. There's so many reasons to be working on Jabba in some capacity. Like if you care, if you actually don't have some kind of weird or whatever, some kind of reason to oppose getting Jabba on some
Mhm.
other grounds, he just seems like such an obvious thing to be working on, and this is another reason. Also, okay, so here's something I thought of.
Mhm.
In some ways, so is it Boosh who has the raid Omicron?
Yeah, it is.
So that's gonna be good. Like people are gonna do it, but then there's no guarantees that the next raid is gonna require HUD
hmm
cartel, and then you're like, oh, I have an Omicron that does nothing ever because my guild is chosen to do the next raid, and this
hmm
one just gets like the doors are closed. Like there's no use for this Omicron ever again.
I would be so annoyed by that.
Yeah, like they're so crazy rare of a commodity,
hmm
and yet you might really want it if you want to get the max. I mean, if you want to get all the Relic 10 stuff that they're going to be giving us.
Don't say that.
Well, like how are they not? How is this not Relic 10?
Don't say that. Don't
This
throw it out
is
there.
no, it's already out there. It's gonna happen. I don't necessarily love the idea, but well, how much did Relic? Here's the thing. This will make Relic 9 more accessible,
See,
and 9 wasn't that necessary.
someone said that argument to me earlier. They're like about how 9 would be more accessible because the relic beforehand becomes more accessible. I'm like, relic 8 still doesn't feel that accessible to me.
How many Relic 8s could you apply though, if you wanted to?
None. I have a Nightsister initiate at relic 7 because I cannot I am stuck. I can't take her to 8 and I need her at 8 for platoons.
Right, it's a farmable thing though. Like what I'm saying is, right now, like droid brains are limiting people. If they want a lot of Relic 9s, that's the thing
Mhm.
that's limiting them. Right now, the Relic 8 stuff, like they made it crazy accessible from the Rancor raid, the heroic Rancor. Like how many of those do you have?
But that raid's going away.
That's not really my point though.
But that is my point with this whole announcement is I'm like, what happens to those rewards?
Well, I want to know that too. I guess my thought though is, I don't think they're gonna make it less. Like they've already said that because of the territory battles, they're going to be pushing us close, like getting us
Right.
more and more access to this gear. I mean, I think that this is a pretty obvious step toward that goal in the long run.
I guess so like what I understand what you're saying in terms of like where the gate is, like where the pinch point is. And I agree with you. Like I have a ton of whatever it is you need for Relic 8. But if I can't get to Relic 8 and you now make Relic 9 more accessible, what good is that to me? Is my point. I
Right.
can't get there anyway.
Well, I think so. So for me, for my main account, Relic 8 was the big, like, it was tough to get, and then once Relic 9 came out, 9 is still tough to get, but 8 is way more accessible. And I think that, in theory at least, that's what's going to happen for everyone, is going to be like, okay, if you can't get Relic 8 now, maybe 8's going to be more common for you. And then 9 is a little bit more accessible as well.
Mm-hmm. Because there are, if I remember correctly, I was looking at it earlier today. There are 3 relic mats that I don't have enough of to go to Relic 8 for right now.
Sure. I mean, me too. That's everyone, you
Yeah.
know.
No, and like I
I'm
get
not
it. Like
saying I'm
I
not saying
get what
that
you're
Relic.
saying. I don't believe that it's more accessible because it doesn't feel more accessible.
I'm not saying that everyone's. It's just going to be like, hey, look at that, like Oprah, and here's a relegate for you, relegate for you. Here you have a relegate. Like everyone gets one. I just think I think that we're going to get more gear, and we can choose to use that gear as we see fit. But we'll see. I think one way or another, I'll be interested to see what our overall gear allocation is. I know that you've been really focused on shard shop currency.
How so?
You think that
Oh,
we're not going to get any now, right?
well, I'm curious what they're gonna do with that. Like, how? So this, and it's not a case of we're not gonna get it, and it's the same thing with the rewards. Again, this is just what I mean by like I have more questions than what they answered. They put it in like giant red text that participating in the raid will you'll earn rewards because we're gonna have a guild reward track and a personal reward track now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the personal reward track will be equal and replace the old simmed rewards. So first of all, it says simmed rewards, which is just the pit and the tank. So nothing about Sith, and nothing about challenge pit, which is going away. They're removing that entirely. Um, ensuring that players retain access to those goods, playing at higher difficulties, which lets you earn more points, lets you gain access to new additional rewards, except like the usual. But my question is how many times can we do this raid? And then are you comparing the rewards from one raid to the rewards of one raid from the old system? Or if this raid is open for, I don't know, 4 days, however long it is, because I don't think they said how long it would stay open for. They just said the whole duration, but they didn't actually give a time frame, right?
I don't think so. No.
Um, if we could run 2 pits, let's say, within the same time frame, are you giving the rewards from 2 pits in one reward for this new one? Or are you going on a 1-to-1 ratio? Like that's what I want to know.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think that this is going to be a slower rollout too. Like, I think that they were like, well, we'll have more information for you in April when we do another one of these. So,
Totally.
I mean, I think though, as far as the shard shop currency goes, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like that they have to give us those shards so if people can farm raid Han and whatever other characters we unlock from them, Kenobi and Treya, like they're pretty important
Mm-hmm.
characters.
So they did say that the shards would be available. The other thing that they mentioned is that in the old raids, you won't have access to your personal track. So are is you only have the guild raid. So the personal track is only for the Krayt raid, the new one. So if you're in a guild that's not doing the Krayt raid and you're doing Sith and you all get the guild reward pool, does that give you Han and Kenobi shards as well?
Let's talk about it on your channel, guys. Go. We're gonna finish the rest of this episode over on Sarah's. So click on the link that should be below us or among us, around us somewhere, or in the video description. See you in a minute.